Well, and Mike, let me ask you this: Is this did we learn these 9 areas and to avoid burnout the hard way, or did you feel like you were kind of keying on this at a very early age, and this idea has just continued to evolve?
I feel like basically my career has been about monetizing my mistakes. Every solution I've come to has because of some mistake or screw up that I was, had a front row seat to. So let me tell you the story how I got to this double win idea. So back in about 2000, I got the career opportunity of my life up until that point. I was working for one of the largest book publishing companies in the US, Thomas Nelson Publishers, now owned by HarperCollins. But at the time, I was like just a divisional manager of one of the 14 publishing divisions that Thomas Nelson has. And so I was given that responsibility in July of 2000. And what I didn't know until I took on the responsibility was that that division was dead last. It was 14 of 14 in terms of revenue growth. In fact, it was shrinking. It was 14 out of 14 in terms of profitability. It had lost money the previous year. And the team morale was, terrible. So the CEO said, and by the way, that's a great way to inherit a division. I couldn't screw it up.
Yeah, right.
You're already, worst you could do is stay in last.
Yeah.
That's a great thing about being in last place. So the CEO said, how long is it going to take you to turn this around? And I didn't have any idea. I pulled a number out of the air and I said, I think it'll take about 3 years. He said, well, that's kind of what I was thinking. Have at it. So I went back to the team, kind of painted a vision for a different kind of future where we were number one in all those metrics. And I really believed we could do it. So we rolled up our sleeves, but we were working 70, 80-hour weeks, spending a lot of time away from our families, working through the weekends, no vacations and all of that. The good news was that we turned that division around in a year and a half. So half the time that I had told the CEO, we went from number 14 to number one in terms of we were the fastest growing division in the company. We were the most profitable division in the company. And everybody loved working on our team because everybody loves winning. Mm-hmm. Well, everybody got a big bonus check for that turnaround. I got the biggest bonus check I'd ever received. It was more than my annual salary. And so I went home just knowing that my wife was going to be over the moon with this achievement. So I kind of came in sort of beating my chest and unfurled the check and said, look, babe. And she wasn't that excited. And so she said to me, I can hear her saying it now. She said, honey, we need to talk. And I went, uh-oh.
You knew that. Yeah, that's not a good phrase.
Yeah. That introduction, it's something serious.
I felt nervous when you said that.
It's like the most dreaded phrase that you can hear as a spouse. Yes, so we went into the den, we sat down and she began to tear up. And she said, honey, she said, first of all, I appreciate everything you've done for this family, the way that you provide for us. Thank you. But I've also got to be honest. And if I'm honest, you're never at home. And even when you are, your head is somewhere else. Yep. And then she began to cry a little bit and she said, your 5 daughters need you now more than ever. And then she really began to cry and she said, honestly, I feel like a single mom. Well, that wasn't what I was going for. I wanted to be a true partner. And I love my wife dearly. As you mentioned, Derek, when we started, I've been married for 45 years. Gail was my best friend. And the thought that I had hurt her and was not there for her just slayed me. But I also felt like I was facing this impossible choice. I could either win at work and continue to succeed there because basically I was succeeding by brute force, or I could pump the ambition brake and give time to my family and just kind of let go of my career ambitions. And neither one of those seemed really tenable. And I kept thinking there's got to be a third option. And so I spent the next several years working on that third option and really studying it. How can you both win at work and succeed at life? That was my objective. And everything that I've written, everything that I've done since then has been to answer that question, not just to help myself, but to help the people that I serve win at work and succeed at life.